How to stop feeling resentful towards my 43F husband 45M. My husband 45M and I 43F have been married over a decade and together for about 14 years. We have had what I believe to be a pretty solid relationship with normal ups and downs. About 3 months ago, I started experiencing health issues related to endometriosis and adenomyosis. After 8 weeks of heavy bleeding on and off, I had an episode where I bled so heavily and suddenly, I got lightheaded and my co-workers wouldn't let me drive home, and instead one of them took me to the emergency room. I told my husband, who was also at his work, where I was going and why. After being in emergency for 8 hours, I haven't seen or heard from him, so I call him. He's somewhere loud. I tell him that they have run tests and done an ultrasound, but I haven't seen a doctor yet. I tell him I haven't eaten, and he says he will come and bring me some food. He shows up an hour later with food, which I am grateful for. After I pried into where he was for the past few hours, I found out that after work, my husband decided that he really needed to watch the game with his work buddies while his wife waits by herself in emergency. The gynecologist that examines me later that evening puts me on a wait list for a hysterectomy. I am put on high-dose hormones in an attempt to control my bleeding. I have tons of side effects from the drugs, but also from the bleeding and the endo flare-ups. I am in constant pain. The next month, I call in sick to work multiple times, don't keep any social commitments, and basically can be found in bed, in the fetal position. My husband quickly goes from sympathetic to irritated. I still do the laundry for the household, but I am not really cleaning and am subsisting on takeout and junk food. My husband pulls me aside to tell me that I am making his life so much harder. He tells me he understands that I am in pain and can't do much, but I've put him in a very stressful situation. My husband is short with me, and all physical affection is gone. Sex isn't something on my mind right now, but there are no hugs, no hand-holding, etc. My husband no longer wants to spend time with me. He goes out drinking and doesn't come home till 2 a.m. multiple times a week. I had a big fight with him a few days ago where I told him how disappointed I am in him. I reminded him that I have a medical issue that needs to be treated surgically, and because I am feeling poorly, the house isn't in its normal shape. Instead of supporting me, he has complained about all the extra work he has to put in. Sir, how much extra work can you be putting in? We don't have kids, just a senior dog. We aren't taking care of elderly parents or relatives. I don't require assistance from him for anything involving myself. It's only been 2 months. My surgery wait time is 4 months, so the end is in sight. My husband apologized and agreed that he was really taking this all really badly. He has stepped up to do most of the chores around the house, and I really am grateful. The problem is, I have such resentment towards him. I never thought my husband would be the type to leave me if I had cancer, but after seeing him fall to pieces because he was the main person taking care of the dog, and in the house for 2 months, I really am not sure anymore. I know if I am snarky or cold, or anything less than my normal happy person, my husband will likely stop/reduce his support, and blame me for not putting forth an honest effort to move past this. How do I begin to help heal this relationship and myself while I am still so mad about everything? I feel like you don't stop resenting this. He showed you his priorities. Why do you have to put on a happy face for him while dealing with such intense medical issues? He lacks empathy and understanding. The short answer is that you don't. You found out who he really is when the pressure is on. And it isn't good. What would happen if the roles were reversed? Well, for starters, I would not be relying on him for post-surgical care. I don't think that you can stop resenting him until you see 1. This change of behavior and stepping up happening for longer than a week. 2. Him supporting you through your post-surgical period, which is going to last for at least 6 weeks. Have a backup plan for post-surgery. Deal with your husband when you are well enough to make decisions, and enough time has passed for him to show his true self. I refuse to believe this man was very thoughtful and helpful before. Usually women handle everything at home, mental load, etc. The minute you aren't useful for him anymore, they act like a child who lost their favorite toy. Like you said, he is going to leave or look for a substitute wife if, God forbid, you get cancer or a long-term disease. You know this now and can plan your future accordingly. I suggest you to build a support system of relatives, friends in case you would need another medical help. I'm sorry you were made to realize that your husband only loves the things you do for him, and not you as a person. After over a decade, I can't imagine how that hurts. Maybe he would agree to counseling if you decide to stay in this marriage. You're only 43 though. You could fall in love again with someone who loves you, more than they value clean dishes and laundry. Honestly, your resentment is justified. Imagine going to watch the game with your mates while your wife is in the ER. My boyfriend 30M judged me 30F for donating $25 to a community cat caregiver. I watched a YouTube video about a community cat caregiver who has spent almost $20,000 over the years to take care of stray cats. I told my boyfriend about it and said how generous and kind she was, and that I wished I could do something to help too. So I used the link they provided and donated $25. Nothing huge, just a small gesture to support someone doing good. But he judged me for it. He said I should just take good care of my own cats and not bother about other people's cats, and that I shouldn't spend money like this. It made me wonder, is this really my problem? I just wanted to do something nice for society, to give back in a small way. Why did he have to make such a fuss over a $25 donation, especially when he once spent $200 on a game he played for just a month before abandoning it? I'm honestly so disappointed. Is donating $25 really wrong? Or is he just being too cold-hearted? Too long did not read. I donated $25 to help a community cat caregiver after seeing a video, but my boyfriend judged me and said I shouldn't spend money on other cats. Meanwhile, he spends $200 on a game he abandons in a month. Now I'm wondering if I'm wrong for caring, or if he's just being cold-hearted. I'm not going to lie, he sounds like an asshole. Unless these $25 are going to make a significant difference for your ability to pay your own bills, I don't see the issue. Donating $25 is a kind gesture, no need to be judged. As someone who does a lot of volunteering and helping others, this would be a huge turn-off to date someone who doesn't help others. I could not be with someone who doesn't have similar altruistic tendencies. Nothing wrong with it. It's just important to me to be with someone who wants to make the world a better place. Is he generally someone who doesn't show empathy? Is this just about the subject of your generosity, cats? Or does he feel that way about charity/community in general? For me, these would be important questions for a partner. I think in your heart you know the answer to your question. If it was $250, maybe he has a point, but you could easily spend $25 on a meal. Who cares? Also, it's your money. Why does he care how you spend small amounts of your money? Wife, 26F, sent selfies to a group of coworkers and blew up on me, 25M. Me, 25M, and my wife, 26F, have been together since 2018 and got married in 2023. A few months ago, she was on a work trip to NYC and got upgraded to a really nice suite. She FaceTimed me and sent pictures of herself and the room to show me how nice it was. I complimented her and agreed that the suite was indeed very nice and was very happy for her. A few days later, I discovered that she sent those same selfies and pictures to a group of male coworkers. She usually doesn't do things like this, so I was a little confused. I expressed that it made me a little uncomfortable and asked her why she did that. She then blew up on me and yelled at me in front of other people in a public environment. On the car ride back home, she thought I was basically calling her a whore, when that kind of language never came out of my mouth. Later, she told me she sent the selfie to show them the room and how happy she was. I want to believe her, but a selfie isn't necessarily the best way to show off a room. It was never a big deal for me that she did this, and I just feel like it got blown way out of proportion because things escalated so quickly. Recently, this topic came back up along with another situation. We have had previous discussions about one particular male coworker she was talking to before the selfie situation happened, and we both agreed that things were getting weird and she would keep things professional. However, she continued to text this guy 8 months after he left, and finally, after the second time of politely telling her it made me uncomfortable, I blew up and got upset because of it. She stopped texting him after that, but I'm confused as to why it took her so long to stop after knowing how it made me feel. The texts were primarily about work drama and her asking him for advice on career-related things. Overall, I think our relationship is pretty strong, but sometimes things blow up, and I feel like she doesn't take how I feel about things very seriously. Does anyone know how to handle situations like this? If your partner gets angry when you just share your feelings, the problem isn't that you're too sensitive. It's that they don't want to listen. Yeah, that shouting and anger-driven attack was supposed to confuse you and make you feel guilty to throw you off balance. Something is wrong and she hates that you're catching up. Trust your gut. Your wife likes male attention and is pissed off that you've noticed it. Shakespeare had this one 400 years ago. The lady doth protest too much, methinks. I'm not saying your wife is overtly cheating, but she certainly is thinking about it, which is making her overreact in this way. She continued to text this guy 8 months after he left. Oh, never mind. She is cheating or doing cheating-adjacent things. My bad. To be completely honest, I think this is about 80% you. The things that seem to be making you uncomfortable texting a selfie in an awesome suite to a bunch of coworkers or asking a coworker about career advice, for instance, are perfectly harmless, and you are getting bent out of shape over nothing. I can see where she'd be frustrated, but that doesn't excuse her blowing up. I think you need to get over your jealousy, and she needs to work on her temper. Your wife doesn't respect you. My 44 male boyfriend wants me to move in with him. I 35 female am not ready. How do I tell my boyfriend that I am not ready to move in with him? He has 2 kids half the time, and his mother comes and stays with them when he has his kids to help with chores and dinners. They live in a 3-bedroom townhome. The sleeping arrangements when he has his kids are his daughter has her own room, his son sleeps in his room with him, and his mom has her own room. He wants me to move in and take his mother's room, and she would move into the daughter's room. I keep telling him there's not enough space for me there, but he insists and tells me he will move his clothes into his daughter's room to give me more space. This makes me feel very uncomfortable. I'm happy he wants me to, but he is kind of giving me an ultimatum. He lives about 40 minutes from me, so it would be nice to live closer, but his house is too full for me. I have been looking for apartments closer to him, but I'm not finding anything that is in my price range that wouldn't be a downgrade. Now, he's asking me to spend multiple nights with him when he has his kids. I work from home, but I prefer to have my computer monitors and computer chair. Not to mention, I don't like the idea of the sleeping arrangements. I can't imagine being an 11-year-old girl, forced to share a room with my grandma because my dad's girlfriend moved in. We have talked about moving into his new house, which he is building. But it's not built yet, and now I have a lot of pressure to move in or closer to him. It's kind of pushing me away. There's not much I can say for him to understand my concerns. Even just spending the nights and working from up there is too much. And I am worried that this will be the end of our relationship. Is there any way to get my boyfriend to understand that I'm just not ready for that won't jeopardize our future together? We keep talking about having goats and a beautiful garden once his house is built, but the current 40 minutes between us seems to be driving us apart. He's going to get you to take care of the kids. I'm going to ask the real question here. Why does he need his mother to move in when he has the kids? This does not sound healthy. I will be blunt, maybe that is what you need. He needs his mommy to help him take care of his kids. Play it forward. What do you think he wants you to do? Try this. Thank you for being open to the moving arrangements. In all honesty, this won't work for me. I work from home, as you know, so I need a quiet workspace. Being in a shared room situation, that's just something that won't work for me. I'd like to stay here when the kids aren't here, as that would work better for me. That's something I'd be willing to work with, but my stance for this current home situation is no. Let's continue this relationship as it is, in our own homes, and look at me coming here when it's just you here. Just tell him he needs to learn to be an adult and care for his own children. I don't understand how you would even contemplate a life with this person. I'm a bit lost. He's suggesting that you use mom's room for your office and not where you sleep, right? Why does he need his mom there? Help with chores and dinner? No, that would become your job because he isn't capable of being a father of 2 children and actually taking care of them. Just know, his mom isn't going to come if you're there. She'll rightly say that she isn't sharing a bedroom with the child. Nope. This boyfriend can't even do life without his mommy, and you will end up taking care of him and his kids. I would never be ready for a grown man who can't be a parent and keep his home clean and isn't capable of cooking for his children.